Hello, ladies and gents. Hello, Jammer.
Hello.
Hi. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good.
God, that was a bit. It
Just
was a bit lackluster from me then. Apologies. Hi, Jammer, mate. How are you doing? How are you doing tonight? Are you alright? You all good? There you go. Is that better?
yeah, that's more like it. That's what
Yeah,
we want
that's
to
what we're gonna
hear.
hear. I knew we were gonna say that. We're twins basically at this point now in life, aren't we? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Welsh Esports League. My name is ReaperSteve, of course, and I'm joined by Jammer. Say joined by Jammer. It's me and Jammer basically. It's just the way it is, isn't it? More or less. We're going to be watching some CS tonight. We've got two matches lined up for you for this evening. Coming up first, we have Artist versus Pit Ponies Jammer. And then immediately after, we have Goats versus Artists. So we're going to be watching a lot of painting tonight. Hopefully Bob Ross style. You
yeah,
know,
or
couple,
maybe like Viperio.
but that as well, whatever that is. Yeah,
There's no way you just said that.
I know. I'm an old man, okay? Okay, we were talking about this before we went live, and like we normally have a little bit of a chin wag together before we actually go into gameplay. Bought a new watch, right? Arrived today, slapped it on my wrist, set up all the stuff for it, and I was like, "Oh, flying through the setup. This is great." Not realizing I haven't set hardly anything up on it. But the first thing I set up was a heart rate indicator and the blood oxygen indicator. And my blood oxygen was like 80% when I set it up, and I was like, "That's not good. That's probably not healthy." And then I put my age in, and it was like, "That's all right." I was like, "Oh, okay, great stuff." You know, we're getting old. But yes, artist versus Pit Ponies coming up first, of course. Will artists be able to paint a masterpiece, or will Pit Ponies pip them to the post? Bosh. Um,
Hey, look at
Keep
that.
that one, lads. Keep that one. But yeah, we're going to be watching that first game coming up. It looks like they're on nuke, to be honest with you, Jammer, from what we're seeing, at least anywhere in the server at the minute.
Yeah,
We do
I
like a
would
nuke,
guess
though.
so.
I like a nuke.
I've got to say, it does lead to some like absolute chaos, and that's something that we'd love to see in this sort of a game.
Yeah, those T side B pushes to get themselves down in through vents, and like it's just chaos at the squeaky door, and yeah, like it definitely does. Or like those mad dash rushes that come from T side through to ramp. Like I do like a good ramp push from like a confident T side, like getting themselves into ramped up and ready to go around that corner, and pray there's no one stood behind a box and no one stood a bit further afield down towards the doors to get up towards heaven. Yeah, there's a few interesting points that come from T side. CT obviously is just CT on this map, and in fairness, like you can't really change much about standard strats. I feel at this point there's nothing really you could pull out the bag that's different.
I guess so. You do have like a few different things, like whether you want to contest outside, stack towards ramp, maybe go for like a gamble down and rotate through lower to secret very early on. But
Mm,
you're kind of right in that like it is a little bit more kind of predictable from the CT side. There are limited kind of microaggressions you can come through with.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just hoping that we do see some like microaggressions, see something like not just let's just default every single round.
Yeah.
Try some interesting stuff to see how it works out.
Um, this map's grown on me over quite a long period of time though. Like this map's gone from being one of those ones where like I'll play it if it's in the rotation and like friends want to play it kind of thing. If I'm outnumbered as far as votes are concerned, as to not play it. And it's gone to the point now where like I actually put this into my own rotation. I'm solo matchmaking. I'll have
Mhm.
this. I'll have Vertigo. I'll have Mirage on there. Because why not? Everyone plays Mirage and Inferno. Those are like my choice now maps to go for. So, I mean, I'm interested to see if these guys can show me something I'm not already doing. And that I can bring to my own A game. Probably
Yeah.
not so much for you, of course, because you're a master and an expert at this game. You're like your top dog as far as how you
That's
play this game.
quite the stretch. Um,
You say
I
that
don't even know how to respond to that.
you say that, but like, come on, I've played CS with you. When you're not full tilt, you're really good. You know,
What about when I am full tilt?
you just go really quiet, and then I don't hear anything from you for like 10 minutes, and then you're like, right, okay, that round's over with. I'm like, okay, all right, Jam, mate, how are you doing? You right? And you're like, yeah, I'm back now. Everything's good. But yeah, full tilt mode
Yeah.
jammer is the best jammer to play CS with because you'll just like head down and just get the rounds on the board, which is nice to watch.
Yeah, that's a pretty apt summation actually. I didn't realize until you just said I've had like that kind of stars aligning moment, realized that I guess I do go kind of quiet when I'm tilted.
Yeah.
But I guess it's better than the alternative.
Oh yeah, no one likes a raging person, right? Like everyone likes that little quiet guy that gets a little bit shook up, and then is able to just kind of like chill into it and relax themselves in the best way possible by putting rounds on the board. I say I like to watch that. I'm more often watching it because I'm normally watching from the spectator screen, to be completely truthful with you. So like I do get to see it firsthand and on occasion. We are just waiting for one additional player to pop themselves into the server and get themselves ready. Actually, as I'm saying it, they've already messaged in there to say that the other player is on the way. So hopefully not too much longer of hearing us ramble. We did this last week. We did it the week before. I'm going to do it again. What have you been playing this week since we last casted on Wednesday?
Honestly, not a lot. I've just been trying to sort out some like real life stuff,
Okay.
and try and get things going in kind of outside the server action. How
Adult
about you?
Jammer.
Yeah, yeah, I'm trying.
Well, I've been playing. I was playing War Thunder, obviously. Like I think everyone knows that now. I'm pretty much hooked at the moment. Been dabbling a little bit with some other stuff that I can't talk about on this just yet. But we'll
Oh
hopefully be
yes.
talking about next week. Um, that's been going very nicely. You know about bits and pieces of that, of course, but yeah, it's getting pretty good. Knife Watch Jammer. I think we're at that point where we can jump in and have a look at some of the knives that the players have got on the server. Obviously, there is a reason for us watching this round because we want to see who's going to take T or CT side, but it's not really for that for me and Jammer. It's more for who's got a decent knife and who's not. I see a bayonet ultraviolet, a little bit scratched up. I like the ultraviolet on the bayonet, by the way, because it looks cell shaded,
Yeah, yeah, it does look really nice. I think this is a really nice combo from Ollie, though.
Was that a slaughter? It was a slaughter, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And the pebbles as well, nice. Okay, straight into everyone dying for the minute. Not going to get a chance to look at any more knives, Jammer. I think this is pretty much all over and done with, and T's are looking likely to take it. Well, indeed.
Oh, looks like skins don't mean wins on a knife round, Reaper. We'll see what these players decide to do. But obviously, for a best of one, you'd ideally want to go for CT side, right? Just get
Yeah,
that kind of easy side out of the way.
start off in the best way possible. Yeah, easily. People already commenting on left-hand gameplay. I've changed it back. All right, I do like to play left-hand gameplay. I don't know why. I've just always played left-hand, and it's just in that mentality. Also, by the way, this crosshair, which everyone complained about the week before last, and they're like, "Oh, please put default crosshair on." It's actually goated. I actually really like this crosshair, and I've been using it in my own games. And I never
There's
thought I'd
no
ever say
way.
that. I've never thought I'd say that out loud, but I genuinely have been using it in my own games. It's actually done me pretty good. I'm slowly like transitioning from the single dot player to default crosshair, man. But speaking of defaults, we're going to look for an outside play coming in from the T side of things. Avery gets tapped up, and okay, Exobolt just gets destroyed entirely there by what looked to be 3 or 4 shots straight from the Glock. Oh, you don't peek that again, do you?
Outside. How are they managing to pull this off? This is completely playing against the advantage of having those Glocks just running outside, steamrolling past every single CT. Now it becomes really awkward in this 5 versus 3. Yabai down in this cubby area will not really do much because the A site has fallen. Somewhat of a fake thrown here from the T side. There's Agent Mahone though, doing whatever's possible, and that's only 1 kill. Might be a bit more work, but every kill seems to be traded. And now it's just Yabai, previously down on that lower site, rotated up. Can they do this 2 versus 1?
It's not looking likely, especially gets pinned here as well. He needs to hit some shots, does in the end, but you can see by that little bit of a shake there that wasn't the cleanest way that he could have done that, in fairness. But a round on the board nonetheless for the T side. We should obviously mention this as well. Obviously, me and Jammer know who's on whose side because we've got the list in front of us. You guys may not know, so from left to right, CT side of things is going to be the artists, and on T side we have Pit Ponies. So Pit Ponies do take the first round after knife, and it's looking pretty good so far. That AK play outside does connect onto 2. Ollie managed to pick up not 1 but 2 as we mentioned, but Veins I should say does pick up Ollie with a P250. It's a good upgrade, in fact, from the P250 to get the AK in the works, but whether it's put to good use, and at the minute, it's nowhere to be seen as far as the rest of the T side are playing through.
Yeah, I think the right call here is to just try and save that AK, bring it into the next round, because you're not going to have realistically much impact having no armor, no utility, you know, not even a kit or anything. So just going to try and retain that into the next round. And that speculative spray does give out the position, and suddenly you can see the Pit Ponies adjusting, trying to take that AK out of the server. Veins retreating back to CE spawn, and probably smart, but there are many players right behind them, hot on the heels. Don't know if they're actually aware that Veins escaped.
Don't think they are, because they're still looking for him, hunting for him. This could be that box is a good position to hold as far as retaining that AK. He does come off the victor in that 1v1. No point in really peeking out into anything. Keep the AK. I mean, okay, it's a round loss, but at the same time, that's a big gun and a lot of cash to take out out of the T side hands for second round there, Jammer.
Yeah, I should say actually, as this match is starting out, both of these teams haven't done too well throughout this tournament so far. So this is a very important game. Both of these teams having only won one game out of well, pretty much all of the series that they've played. And so whoever wins here can have a significant impact on how the standings look moving forward.
We do have 1 week left to go out this one also. Next week is our last set of games for this opening foray into the Welsh Esports League. So it'll be interesting to see how things set at the end of play. This little Mac just clearing the entirety of A side out there. Does go for the third. Ends up popping the molly up there instead. Trying, I think that was actually yeah, Avery there to try and wave Avery off from re-peeking from top. Save the scout Jammer? Question mark.
I mean, it's a 1 versus 3. They might not have the info that there's players tagged down low. It's not the end of the world to save things, but you know, ideally you wanted a bit more production from your riflers on the A site. That was a really well constructed round though from the Pit Ponies. They worked well to kind of have a little bit of presence outside that split the attention of the A site defenders, and then just pushing out of hut, and then combining with pressure and Squeaky was just a bit too much to handle. There's more choke points than there are CTs to defend, let alone trades and things like that. So good work in the end from Pit Ponies to get their third on the board. Now a deagle buy from the artists, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of setup they go for and see if they go for any early fights.
Yeah, lots of Deegs in play. So both they're the only one without sticking with the USP, but does have armor to work with. First Deagle chiming off, but your buy's taken out. Good play though from T side. They've already picked that one player outside. They know that there's going to be rotations coming in. They swap it up, go down lower as Veins is there waiting to receive at least one of the players. Doesn't connect onto the second, gets taken out of that fight very early on as far as taking the 2-man piece. And now we're in a situation where we have a Deagle and a USP in play. Only one kid, nothing to really use as far as utility to get some sort of angle into sight. Go for this.
Yeah, that round was kind of contingent on Veins picking up a bit more there and just trying to stay alive and be annoying. The fact that they only pick up one through that position, like, it's pretty much as you can expect. But at the same time, to have any sort of hope of disrupting the Pit Ponies, you need to get a little bit more.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, 100%.
Back on the gun round.
I mean, for me, like every round's integral from a CT side, and usually we see that scoreline shifted in the opposite direction at this point, with the CTs leading 4-0, or get into that point of 4-0. But it's been quick successive rounds from the Pit Ponies. They've just continued to apply that pressure where it's needed the most and make the most of the damage that they're actually delivering onto the artists at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of pressure here towards outside, and it seems like the artists, they want to fight. They don't want to give up any ground. Interesting smoke. Little Mac's going to use that to his advantage. Louis capitalizing as well. That's a lot of impact in towards outside. There's a wrap in towards main, and Agent Mahome actually getting some luck then with the PTK. Haven't seen that in a while.
No,
Louis, though, still lurking around in heaven. Might be just enough to disrupt this hold again. This is going to be so pivotal in this fight right here. And That's going to be Ollie actually chiming in. Agent
Oh!
Mahone! Oh, that's impact. 3k and a first round locked in for the CT side. But with only one player staying alive, it might still be troublesome waters here.
Mate, he's like, I tapped you. I know I've tapped you up there, but I need to divert my attention very quickly, and then I'll be back to you in a moment. Like, just like, I mean, we've all done that though, right? You spray a player and you're like, he's dead for definite, and you're like, wait a minute, actually he's not. Okay, let me go back. Nice play indeed. I mean, that's pivotal as far as changing the dynamic for the next couple of rounds. I mean, there is cash built up on the T side of things still, of course, but it's going to slowly waver away if they can continue that momentum built up by Agent Mahone.
Yeah, might need a big performance again. There's an impactful first kill to try and level things out. Vaynes also picks one up towards ramp, and it seems like the Pit Ponies want to continue to pressure ramp. There are multiple players, but that's an overextension from Exovolt. Will be punished. Now it's just Avery and Vaynes left to pick up the pieces. 2 versus 3 is definitely doable, but it's really going to depend on the rotations at this point.
Good choice by the T's. Rotate back. You've done a lot of damage over towards the ramp control. Try and clear out any additional players you can over towards A. Oh, it's actually a double pick. They get back down in towards Vents. Vaynes catches Ollie off. We're not expecting him to peek in through there, to be completely truthful. I think they were kind of hopeful that he was still going to be wrapping his way around towards ramp to provide support, but that wasn't the case. And I mean, we're now on the verge of around the world, more or less, right? Like, you know, they've been to A, now down towards B, now back up towards A. Cool, calm and collective, Jammer.
Absolutely. Well done from Vaynes there. That will be a second round. Again, very costly for the CT side. So you might see some SMGs and little bits of utility pulled out. But at this point, you know, just to secure some rounds and, you know, clutch up a few times might be enough to bolster the confidence of some of these players. We might have had, you know, maybe some nerfs, some jitters coming into things like this. You know, this might be the first tournament that some of these players have ever played in.
Not for Ollie, though. I mean, we've seen Ollie play for years, mate. Good old Ollie. Well, I should add context that Ollie's played for EsportsWales previously in TAN. Very good player, indeed. He's played with a couple of other teams as well, and mixes and on that. We've seen him in other tournaments like Epic Land, and I think he's played in Insomnia. I'm not 100% certain. I can't remember if he played the last one or not. But regardless, anyway, we're diverting completely our subject. We're here for Welsh Esports League, of course. Still continuing with that rampage of taking scalps into this round, at least. Now, a lot of damage being dealt out. I say a lot of damage. A lot of unknown damage being dealt out by the CT side of things. Popping those frag grenades into awkward positions, try and call off guards some of the some of the aggressions that we're seeing from Pit Ponies, but only played a full so far from both sides of things. Are two kind of mid-level players as far as kill death.
You know what this is turning into?
That's a ReaperSteve.
This is turning into this is turning into Hero CS, and it's not the most pretty sight. You're kind of seeing players just go for these pushes because it's a moment of desperation. You're like, okay, we're 4 versus 3 or 3 versus 5, whatever the situation is. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident in this situation. So I'm just going to go for a peek. I'm going to go for an entry. I'm going to take space. But without a kind of set play, without kind of some thought behind the madness, it just gets punished. And you can see exactly how that's working out. The Pit Ponies steamrolling for all intents and purposes. The artists, just Exovolt left alive. And again, this should be a save, but, you know, they're just lurking around trying to see what they can get, if anything. It does look as though the Pit Ponies will get a 5th and probably a bit more.
Should add this for new viewers watching myself and Jammer for the first time. Jammer loves hero play CS. He's lying. Loves it.
I hate you.
No, Jammer despises hero play CS. Sometimes it pays off. Like we've seen it before. You know, players do this mad peak, and all of a sudden they get like, you know, get 3k out of it, do you know what I mean? Or they get like a boatload of info, and, you know, it changes the dynamic of how the rest of that round gets played out. But they're very few and far between those rounds are, and yeah, having moments like that.
I'll phrase it like this: like Hero CS wins rounds, but Team CS wins matches. And at the end of the day, you're here to win matches, not just individual rounds. and it's not really a consistent way to, you know, kind of be winning. It's not a winning formula that can work consistently, and that's ultimately what you're striving to achieve. Again, more hero CS you can see from the ramp push, but this is just really good CS from the Pit Ponies, just sitting there waiting for the CT players to kind of push into their crosshairs, just eliminating them one by one, winning their fights, and ultimately, if that's all you need to do, then it's happy days.
I mean, you can almost hear the comms from Pit Ponies. They've been like, they're being super aggressive, just chill. You know, like, let them push, because, you know, you get into this sort of mindset now as a CT player. You're dragging 4 rounds behind. You need to do something to try and, you know, get that playing field evened up, even slightly. You know, like get at least 1 or 2 extra rounds on the board. Otherwise, you're going to struggle against a passive CT side. Like, yeah, you can almost hear the comms from artists of being like, just swing on them, try to do something, try to get something out of it. And you can hear the comms from Pit Ponies of being like, just chill. I mean, they're doing all the work for us at this point. Like that there, your buy there's no need for your buy to push up that far outside. You know, you've got Avery who's hanging back. Okay, Avery loses that fight, but you know, you got Avery that's hanging back. Allow Avery to make that move, that room and momentum for you. Don't peak angles that you don't need to take too much risk from. I mean, this is like a super risky round for the artist, and they seem to be kind of like losing it on all fronts every time they do these super risky rounds.
Yeah, a bit.
we all talk about that one. What a molly from Ollie. Ah, God.
Indeed.
I'm gonna stop.
Banes? Picking up a few kills, and at the end of the day, this is almost like vanity kills. You know, just trying to impact the economy, maybe.
Do what you can.
Pad your own stats, build your confidence. But ultimately, you know, you can't really feasibly go for a 1 versus 5.
I can.
No sane person would do that, right, Reaper?
We're not talking about my play styles. Oh! Have done a 1v5 in the past, Jammer.
Okay.
In worse situations. I have done it once. Only once in I've probably done it a couple of times, but only once that springs to mind in memory. We were like losing 14-2, I think it was, something like that. And it was like we were getting battered on Inferno. And pulled out a 1v5 out of the back burner, you know. Did it for the team. We lost that game, by the way, anyway. But like, still, you know, we had 1 extra round on the board. That's all that counts. Team player Ollie straight out with the other 2 on to A site. Veins is like kind of. If it works 60% of the time, it works every time. You know. Like, that's the mentality I kind of get from Veins at the moment. Trading him.
I mean, yeah, when it's 2-7, I feel like, you know, you do get a little bit of that kind of pressure seeping in. You really want to try and have some impact. You want to try and win for your team, and sometimes it feels like you have to make plays to do it, and that's a play. Exavolt, not seen too much from them, but that's a good start. JKY makes their presence known, and this is an even-ish fight until JKY uses a nade and finishes it off. So that is 2-8, and this T side is looking pretty impeccable.
This is what I mean though about passive CT now. Like they get double digits on T side. You can just chill on CT. I mean, they have to push into you, of course. They have to make their own space, their own momentum. They played super aggressive throughout the entirety of their CT side. You know, the chances are they're going to be super aggressive into their T side because they'll keep that mentality going of trying to, you know, scramble for points. You can easily win this from them, you know, from Pit Ponies' perspective by playing as passive as you possibly can on the CT side. You don't want to do too much work, allow, you know, artists to do all the work for you essentially, which is what seems to be happening in this first half anyway. Undeserved. That was deserved. So kind of like the old shotgun play myself personally. I can't remember who it is from one of your friends. It always comes into my stream whenever I'm streaming CS, and he's like, "If in doubt, XM10 out."
Oh yeah, yeah, I know who that would be. But in any case, Mahone has a clutch. Oh, connecting through the wall. Not quite good enough for a kill. If there was a player from the artists you'd want in this position, Mahone would be probably close to the top. There's a first. 1 more player to find. I don't think Mahone's aware that the last player was actually the planter, but in any case, progression will be made. JKY making a play through the smoke, and that might be enough to... Oh, actually, okay, it doesn't matter. I thought Mahone might have read into it. In any case, oh, that's a nice peek. And JKY will secure a 9th round with 3 kills in this round.
They played mind games with each other, right? Like, oh, a little bit of comments being made in the old chat there. Yeah, like they kind of played mind games with each other, right? Like there was that tap, and then it was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna push you now, just to see if you are. We'll take a quick look at the scoreboard in a few moments to look at some KDs and ADRs to kind of get a good idea of how this matchup is working at the minute, but it does feel like a very much like a one-way street kind of scenario, unfortunately, for artists in this game.
Indeed.
I think we've had, what, 2 rounds, which were rounds 3 and 4, and that's it since they're running. Good kill.
Good start. Some UK representing the Smears Knickers on the AWP there. Maybe channeling some of the AWP energy. Will be a few more kills required, though, for Mahone to help his teammates secure this one. A lot of pressure here, though, from the Ponies. It looks like an A-split coming through. Agent Mahone stuck on the back of the site. That's a slow, quick switch, but the shots are fast. And 2 more players to find. Mahone just trying to stay alive, buy some time for Exavolt. Another nice shot. And suddenly JKY has to clutch up versus 2. And I feel like the artists are read into this position.
He's not looking. And there's the ace, mate. Agent Mahone. Ace clutch. Ace with the AWP. Like, I mean, okay, that switch was very, very slow. But at the same time, the kills what count. That was nuts.
Really good impact there from Mahone, and honestly, that might be enough to spur a few more rounds from these guys.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, you got now Little Mac down to Mac 10. You know, yeah, JKY has a lot of cash built up, but realistically speaking, we've got a couple of rounds left in this first half for them to get it up to 5. You know, like try and squeeze out as much as you can from the first half to make that second half just that little bit more easier. CT economy is not the nicest at the minute, though, so everything they can take from it will mean the most. But at the minute, Little Mac's just running around with the Mac 10, doing his thing. Good molly there to get Agent Mahone away from that vent Pete, and I mean, right now this is just back on the momentum. Whoa. Oh, speaking of momentum, Big Green has quite a lot of velocity, and that went straight through Louis Prem's forehead.
Okay, this is suddenly on. Round 13, 2 versus 3. Plenty of kits, plenty of utility in play, but can they hit the shots? The artists need rounds dearly. Little Mac, though, impact with the Mac 10, and Veins has to do it all from the hurt. They know where they're coming from, and Veins doesn't want any of it. They want to save this FAMAS. That might not be the worst idea, considering how low this bomb's getting. Okay. I thought that you'd take way more damage from that position, but you know what?
Yeah, I did as well. I was like, well, he's going to drop down to at least 80. Sorry, by at least 80, but I think I found a new position I'm going to hold from, to be honest with you, mate. Like, fair. What was that, 60 HP? Just a 40 HP drop, more or less?
Something like that. But yeah, weird, just CSGO things.
Yeah.
It is a cobbled together buy, though, for round 14, and I don't know how confident I am in it.
With the way that they're playing, I don't feel confident at all about it, to be honest. 2 FAMASs in play. It starts to swing out on the first one. Doesn't quite connect on the second, but Exobolt's still the man at the moment. He does drop. Oof, this is a cobbled together buy, as you said, and it's not really working out at the moment. There's a lot of damage dealt, though. Ollie and Louis Prem taking out the fight entirely. HiMass there with 1 HP. Still room to maneuver from a CT side of things, but it depends on how well they want to maneuver with it. Mahone, speaking of maneuvering, gets himself into site control somewhat, but he's surrounded on multiple angles by the 2 different T side hold players. Your boy and Avery, I take that back. Your boy just gets dominated immediately by the 1 HP player. And it's Avery who's left to make just as much noise as possible to get himself into sight. Gets the first. Could be done here, mate. Nope. Not point.
It is done.
It
but
is done.
done for the Pit Ponies. 11 rounds. Only one more left of the half. This could be on the verge of a 12-3 because the money is not looking too healthy on the artist side. But yeah, just to break that one down really quick. The Pit Ponies, you know, they just compound together towards ramp. It doesn't really seem like anyone across the server has the strongest grasp of utility. And sometimes that just works better for the team that will group up. So yeah, well worked from the Pit Ponies to just trade out, and it worked out. But this is going to be a lot of pressure on towards the A side. Yabai will put the first, and there's a Negev outside, but this T side has got control over A. It is their dominion, and we're going to have to look for a retake.
I rate the Negev play, to be honest. Oh, there's an auto as well. I don't rate the auto play though, not gonna lie. Just makes me cringe every time I see a player with it. Regardless of what level you are, please do not buy the auto.
Well, you can say Little Mac deserved to die for that one. It is the last round of the half, so Veins will have to go for this one regardless, but does actually give a lot of space over towards the Pit Ponies, just not to get hunted down by these last two players. Louis Prem and Ollie, though, two of the stronger names from the Pit Ponies side. It's not going to be the easiest clutch, but Veins has plenty of time to work with, a little bit of utility, and I think a little bit of, well, I was going to say a little bit of surprise, but all that surprise is gone, and Vision is gone with that flashbang. Ollie will lock it in. 12-3, really good half from the Pit Ponies, and it looks like they might just run away with things if they pick up the pistol.
110 ADR there, sitting from Veins. Ollie 143. Would be nice if it didn't just disappear off my screen while we were mid-conversation about it, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, Ollie really leading the charge as far as ADR is concerned. Good utility damage, though, from what was the T side, now CT side. 119, 118, 109. 6 flashes successful for Levy there as well, also. It's good to see. You like to see that from a strong T side. First half's done and dusted, though. Into the second Jammer. Pistol round. And your boy starts it off in the best possible way for them with that first opening pick. Louis Prem evens the scoreline out a bit, but your boy's still got more in the bank.
Well, it's going to be a tough retake. I didn't see a kit, so I don't know if there's one retrievable. In any case, the 3 versus 4 is not easy in any situation, and that's made a little bit worse. Avery pushing into main, takes 2 kills, and suddenly it's just JKY. Has one clutch before. Not going to be another, as Veins will lock in the pistol round, so there's life left in the artists, and they might just live a little bit longer.
Say what you're going to say about second round.
Oh,
come on.
Okay, yeah, for those of you at home that don't know, winning the second round has a larger economic impact than winning the pistol itself, and it can lead to quite a strong deficit for the team that loses. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. There's forces from both of these sides.
Honestly, didn't want to steal your thunder with it. I was like, give you a little bit of a nudge rather than me say it. and then you'd be like, that's my thing.
I forgot about it, to be honest.
Did you really? Oh, man. Come on. Sort your life out.
I'm losing it. I'm getting old. Oh. That's not old, though. That's 2 lovely deagle shots from Dead. I don't even know what that is. Oh, you know what? Spreading death to the server. Lovely round, and that is, well, that's the economic impact and probably emotional impact from the CT side. What is that? Outrageous scenes to lock in a 13th round.
Wait, the first 3 picks there from him was a trade of 3 kills for 24 HP. That's nuts. That is like just 3 piece, 24 HP taken away from him, and he gets 3 picks back to back. Yeah, 3 picks just on the spot, more or less. That last one though, that was exactly why I love CS for the new animation. Well, I say new animations, not new anymore, but the animations added in for player deaths. You know, we need to start using sound effects Jammer in our cast and have the banana peel sound go off every time someone flips in the air like that. And he's still continuing the momentum. I mean, M4 outside just continuing to lay waste. Actually, see if they leave the server. That's your boy gone. Might be a technical issue. We'll see what happens after this one.
Well,
Should be a
pool can
pause.
collected.
No pause. Oh, there's the pause. Okay.
Okay.
There was a minute there where I was like, still time in this. Come on, man. Like, so, come on. You know, like I don't want to be like, I had to bring it up in the conversation first. But yeah, I mean that was insane from the Deeg. Can
Really well worked. I think, looking at these two squads, I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Pit Ponies having only won one of the, was it 3 or 4 games that they
4
played?
games? Yeah, 4. Yeah, it's insane to look at it from that perspective. Like, there's not. My opinion would be that they should really be main contenders the way they're playing this. But it's not to say that Artist also couldn't as well. There are good players on the Artist team. It's just kind of well. I'm going to say it like this: it's RNG, right? It's what happens on the night when you turn up in the server. Like you might have a
Yeah.
good game, might have a bad game. It's whatever. But yeah, I mean, 14-4 at the minute as far as scoreline is concerned. I'll start like reeling myself in rather than going off in tangents. But we're almost at the end of this first map, and we're less than half hour in, more or less. Maybe actually a little bit longer than half hour. 32 minutes, 33 minutes in. Quick first map for CS for this evening. But we do have another one coming up. I would say more or less straight after, but I think the other team is still playing at the moment, so we might have a little bit of a break in between.
Who are we going to be watching, Reaper?
It's a good question, that is, Jammer. I'm glad you brought it up in conversation, to be honest with you. Because the reason why I'm glad you fetched up in conversation is that we could talk about it a bit more. It's going to be GOATs versus Artists. So
It is.
will Artists be able to pull it back for that match? That match even.
I mean, it's not even just a matter of pulling it back. It's just a case of, can they mentally reset in time? Can they just say, all right, that match was a game in isolation. Let's just move on to the next one, work through our issues, whatever they were, and see how things go. Remember, it might not even be on Nuke. So
Yeah.
I'll have to wait and see what transpires there. But transpiring in this round is a lovely set of frags outside, as the Pit Ponies compound on their success. The Artists not having the best of luck, and I think that has to do with this lack of utility that we talked a little bit about over this server. No smokes outside, not even really any support flashes to help that cross down to secret. And, well, Mahone has played well, but I don't think you're going to be spraying down 3 players for this 1 versus 4 clutch well.
No, it's just, it doesn't feel feasible at all. You mentioned Ollie setup before, but like regular, I like the gloves, I like the knife. That M4, the Mecha Industries, like one of my favorites as well. So he's already got a place in my my favorite list, at least as far as having skin setup.
He has the Reaper seal of approval.
He does indeed. Not that there's much of a seal of approval, to be honest with you. It's just like a tattered bit of parchment that you can look at, and it'll be just looks like it's got a coffee stain on it. Probably some vape juice dripping off the side of it.
Some sort of seal of approval is better than none.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Lil Mac there takes out Asia Mahone though before we get deep into that conversation about parchments and bits and pieces. Flashbang through. I mean, there's nothing in this for them at the moment, right? Oh, the knife at the end to seal the deal, Jammer. And that, believe it or not, is all she wrote for the first matchup for this evening. That lovely win, frankly, for Pit Ponies, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's just a really quick first matchup for the evening. We'll look at the scoreboard very quickly just before we switch back out, of course. 25 and 10 there for Ollie Jammer, 17 and 10 for JK, 22 and 9 for, is it Dead Glee? No.
Dead GC?
Dead GC. Ollie,
Dead G.
Ollie, if you're still on the chat, translate, please. Be great
What's going on here? I think another talking point for us into the next game, Reaper, for the Artists is, can Veins and Mahone continue this good progress? Because they didn't play badly.
No, yeah,
19
16,
16, 18, 18.
Yeah.
And then another question is, can the rest of the Artists rally behind them? Can they perform a little bit better into the next one against the GOATs?
Hey, Ollie said his name is Tom. Sound.
Good enough for me.
What happened to the old days when people just put their name as Tom? You know? Strange that, isn't it? Let's be honest. But we
Or
are going
spelt the
to
name Kian correctly.
Okay. I'm still glad you got back at me tonight, by the way, for making you go and check the pronunciation of the name. It's one of my favorite moments. I'm just gonna check to see if the other game is up and running. I don't think it is as of yet because they haven't quite finished. Let's see. I'll tell you what we'll do, Jammer. We'll take a very quick break. We'll be back with you momentarily, hopefully, with the next matchup for the evening. Otherwise, though, go grab a coffee, grab yourself some snacks and whatnot. Me and John will be back to talk more crap at you and watch CS and try to imitate commentary in some way. We'll see you soon. Hello, ladies and gents. We're back once again, like the Renegade Masters that we are. God, that was so bad. It's terrible. Um, anyway, moving swiftly on before Jammer ridicules me for being elderly for knowing that song. We're jumping straight into the next game. We actually have both teams ready to go a lot quicker than we both kind of expected, so we should be more or less straight into gameplay once they switch the map. Realistically, all 10 players are in the server, so we're good to go. At least we're just waiting for them to be good to go. We're going to be watching Goats CS versus the Artist. We watched the Artist obviously a few minutes ago playing on Nuke. I think the map for this one's Overpass, from what I was told. It was Overpass, I said, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It is Overpass, yeah. Good map, good all round map. Well, it's not in my play rotation for me personally, but I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, it's probably like second or third most played for me, so quite a bit of experience. I mean, Overpass is just a UKCS map through and
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
I don't know any UK team that doesn't really play it. But yeah, no, hopefully we get a good game going on. Hopefully just as much pandemonium and chaos as that previous Nuke game that we just had. But we'll have to wait and see. Just to give everyone a recap on the Goats' season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they actually have a kind of two-win record out of their four games, but oddly enough, there's a lot of kind of no-shows. So their first win was legitimate against the Pit Ponies,
Mm-hmm.
and then their second win was today against the Swans, who unfortunately couldn't play from the looks of things. So yeah, that was a technically 16-0 or a forfeit win. But yeah, Goats actually get to play against the artists here.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, like Artists have just had a really bad map on Nuke. I mean, yeah, saying it as it is, they did have a really bad map on Nuke. Overpass has so many different standards of play. That we could see a completely different side to the Artist team that we've just watched, and it could be we could be in for a long run, or it could be a repeat, and we end up being very quick into that one. Who really knows? But at the moment, no one does because they still haven't switched the map, Jammer, and we're waiting for them to sort themselves out. I'm saying this out loud because normally we get in chat, Caster, please start game. Start us this time round, ladies and gents. Me and Jam are
Oh
ready,
yeah, I mean
right?
everyone knows that we're the casters, admins, organizers, and we control time, so we can
It's
just
yeah. Oh
make it
yeah.
start whenever.
It's almost like we're casting, producing, and observing, and like. Oh wait, there
Oh
actually.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Fun and games. Anyway, uh, just general chit chat then for a little bit, I suppose, mate, while we wait for these guys to sort themselves out.
yeah.
So the other day, Swans Esports have set up a boot camp, or gonna set up a boot camp for players in the stadium, which is like 5 minutes down the road from me. So I'm trying to like weasel my way in to be able to go to their boot camp. I don't know what I'm gonna do there when I go there, by the way, but there's a bar in the same room, so I mean, I'll figure something out, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you could get a little behind the scenes action and maybe get an interview or two from the players, that would be a really cool experience. And I don't know, maybe we can show it in the final week or so.
yeah, but that means then showing how elderly I am, and no one needs to see how
I
that
mean, you don't have
looks.
to be on camera.
Yeah, but hidden talents and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Um,
true, true.
this month we have Epic Land at the end of the month. I'm going. I don't. Are you going? Are you confirmed as going now, or are you unsure still?
I am confirmed, but on a restricted kind of timetable thing because of
Oh,
work. Not
okay.
giving me time off.
So are you Friday, Saturday, and then leaving Sunday?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, and then I can stay for like the morning of Sunday,
I
but
got you.
from like midday, I need to be gone.
Hey, you're not going to be able to the final. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's going to be a new trend, I think, for me.
Yes, it is what it is, mate. At the end of the day, work comes first. You know. What was the saying I said to you earlier on? The sandwich thing. Life is like sandwich. No matter
Oh,
which way you
yes,
flip it, bread always comes first.
absolutely. Who needs
That needs
friends or social life or a partner?
that
Just
needs to be on
bread.
a. I need to put that on a t-shirt. I
You
reckon
know
it's
what? I would buy a T-shirt
yeah.
with that on.
I'm gonna Etsy that afterwards. I think, to be honest with you, gonna price up getting a load of like blank T-shirts and get it printed onto it. I mean, people in chat, would you buy a T-shirt with a quote from me on it?
Oh, just
Like,
bring it to Epic Land. Honestly, set
I
up a
might do. I
store.
might do. I might do. Yeah. Well, I'll have her on hats and snapbacks and T-shirts by the end of the week, guaranteed. Um, yeah. Anyway, moving swiftly on from poor remarks and comments. I think for me, like this month now, after we finish up next week, it's going to be like a relatively quiet month. Um, I have a few bits and pieces that I can't talk about that I'm doing, which will become apparent at some point. I say can't talk about, but you know, because yeah, we have these
Well, I
weird
know what. I don't know what you're on about.
we have these weird conversations. I'm like, I can't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you it though, and you're just gonna like keep it to yourself. Oh, I thought
I guess one of the benefits of not having a social life is that you can't really tell people
no,
their
yeah,
secrets.
exactly. Why do you think I never leave the house? This is exactly the reason why. Like, um, no, relatively quiet month. I got some stuff in the background personally I'm dealing with. Get out of the way, and then ready to rock and roll into March. I'm gonna do a lot more CS watching this month though,
Oh yeah.
which is nice. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be fun at least. I do enjoy watching the old Counter Strike. You know.
I mean, that is why we do this for our well,
Oh yeah, you're
aspirational
right.
living, I should
Actually,
say.
yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
sorry, keep forgetting that that's what we're here to do. This isn't Overwatch or Valorant. What's going on?
Hey, we don't talk about that here.
We don't talk about the V word.
No, no. It's
Overwatch 2 is right. We can talk about that, but not the V word.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I actually played a fair bit of Overwatch 2 last week or this weekend, I should say, um, with some friends. It's actually really chill. I genuinely enjoy playing it. Like I would have a clue what any of the buttons do, but it's fun, you know. But they all play like comp, which is like a bit more serious than like CS comp in some ways. Because when you get to a certain rank, you can only play certain classes of characters.
All
Um,
right.
or like if you're in a party and someone's like really low end on rank, then they can't. They can only play certain ones. You can only play certain ones, kind of thing. So it kind of like tries to set the team up to play to your strengths. But yeah, I played like for like a couple of hours there on the weekend with some of my mates, and it was actually reasonably enjoyable. I keep getting asked to play Valorant, and I keep saying no. Um, I don't know whether or not that's going to continue for me to say no, but I feel like I should give it a go at least once, you know, since all the new
Yeah, I
updates and
mean,
stuff. I played it in closed beta and then played it in first when it first released. I actually played it quite a fair bit. One of my weirdly enough, I casted one of the first UK tournaments for Valorant as well. A little bit of a tidbit for you there.
yeah, a
Take what you will
little
from that one.
dark spot on your resume.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Don't add that one
No,
to
I mean,
the Wikipedia page.
I'll be honest, I was actually really excited about Valorant when it was kind of first announced and
Mm.
everything. But the more I learned about it, the more I was just like, yeah, I can't really be asked. So yeah, never even loaded the game up, never played a second of it.
It's a weird
Uh,
hybrid, but I think like it's got its own place within esports as well. Like it's not just it's got its own player base and its own player ability within esports. I mean, it
yeah.
could be worse. You could be doing point and click adventures like League of Legends and Dota and that. You know, like I say that out loud, and I used to play Smite, so I can't really like. I, Smite isn't really a click and play adventure, though, is it? Yeah, it kind of is actually. Thinking
No,
on it,
Smite's all right.
yeah, Smite's okay. PC Smite though, not console Smite.
I
I
didn't know
mean,
there was much of a difference.
yeah, it's controller in it.
Ah,
Plus,
true, true.
consoles are. Ugh, no one likes consoles. Come on now.
Yeah, we can all agree on that.
Yeah, PC gamers for the win. Um,
In any case, should we talk a little bit
welcome
about
back to the
the
Jammer
best?
ReaperSteve podcast.
Oh yes,
Yes. What are we talking about, Jammer? What was you going to say? The best.
the best PC game of all time.
Yeah, so League of Legends. Yeah, I mean, are they talking in the server now about what map they're playing? I have no idea what's going on, by the way. Still, because we have. Oh, sorry, we are actually missing a player. Never mind. I thought there was 10, but my maths was just completely incorrect. There was 9 in the server for the longest time. Um, yeah, I mean CS. What more could you say about it? It's free to play. If you wanted to get involved in CS, you can do. Are you locked out of comp at free to play? You know, you're locked out
What
until
do you
you
mean?
reach a certain level, aren't you?
Yeah,
If
until
first time
level
playing,
12, I think.
I'm way past that, so I have no idea what level it is. Level 12 in it. I thought it was 10. Was it 12?
I mean, a
You're lo-
certain level.
you're locked out to a certain level, so you can't play competitively, but you can still play like death matches and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's kind of fun for your first time viewers that have never watched or played CS before. The UK scene's growing exponentially every year, getting bigger and bigger, which is kind of nice. And having tournaments like
Yeah.
this grows it even more, for like grassroots aspect of it, which is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, EsportsWales promoting esports gaming and streaming in Wales, developing esports in Wales from the grassroots to the national level is a great thing.
It's not rehearsed at all, that one. I promise. Like we didn't sit here for half hour after before going, how are we gonna lead into this? Oh, we'll do this. No, joking, of course. Joking I am. For you Welshies out there that watch Gavin and Stacey. But yeah, I mean, like grassroots level from EsportsWales, perfect. Really good game for you to get involved in if you like FPS games and you don't like the Call of Duty type shooters. Um, where it's like bullet sponges. Although you will more often not get like a kill where or death, sorry, where you'll shoot a player and you'll get 99 hit damage in like 9 shots, and you'll never understand why it didn't kill him. But people aren't bullet sponges in the game, so yeah, get involved with CS.
I just gotta shoot him in the head, mate.
I did. First shot was a dink, and then the rest of them just. I think I hit him his pinky, maybe, probably. I think that was probably what happened.
I can fix that problem and then do the second one in the head as well.
Yeah,
There you
second one in the
go.
head. That'll probably be better,
Problem
right?
solved.
Yeah. I need to bring my Tarkov tactics to CS. Just shoot him in the head as quick as you possibly can, and then try to stop screaming out loud after you've done it. Um,
I generally find that works. Sorry.
yeah, like just I'm not screaming because I've killed someone. I'm screaming because I'm absolutely terrified because someone shot at me in the dark. That's why I was screaming. Um, we have a bot. It's not a real bot though, is it? It is. We're still waiting on one player. Sorry, everyone. I'll tell you what. We'll take a very small break. Let me and Jammer grab a drink. Are they readying?
This
Are we gonna
is
5v4? Oh, okay.
uh
Sorry.
okay.
Actually, yeah, I see it now. One of the players has restarted his PC like 10 minutes ago. He'll be in a sec. You need to get yourself an M.2 for it, my friend, because that 10-minute wait for your PC to turn back on, that's a long time.
Actually,
That's a long time,
can we
legit,
talk
right?
about that actually? It's such a
Yeah, yeah.
quality of life upgrade. For those of you that don't know, an M.2 drive is a type of hard drive,
NVMe. Yeah.
like a solid state type of hard drive that just is so much faster and so much nicer than having any other type. So if you can get one, just grab an M.2 drive or any kind of solid state drive,
You
and
want one
you'll
which is like 250 gig in size for your OS and like your
yeah, at
basic
least.
files, and then another one which is like 500 to a terabyte worth of data for games. Believe me, you will load video games quicker than you can click the button in Steam. Like it is a massive quality of life upgrade. I say that because I upgraded my PC recently. I bought a new graphics card and RAM and a few other bits and pieces to bring my aging 1080 into into the next iteration of gaming. And I bought a new M.2 to go in it as well. So my motherboard has 2 slots for M.2. Completely like
Okay.
changed my load times for video games. Like I only put like I play Tarkov quite a lot, of course. I play a lot of CS. I watch a lot of CS as well, so I need to have CS installed. And like 2 or 3 other games I play, daily, more or less, or a couple of times a week, and just instantly opens them. It's perfect. Can't raid them though, from memory, unless you've got the exact same size in all slots, which
Yeah,
you won't be able to.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a big necessity
No,
for
no.
those of you, at home that like do want to get into PC gaming. Just little tips that you can pick up. But yeah, at the same time, I'm actually kind of surprised at how many pros or semi-pros or just gamers in general that don't have the kind of basics of kind of PC setups
Mhm.
and configurations of like understanding.
You say that, right? But I saw a tweet yesterday and I commented on it. It was about microphones. And some, sorry, excuse me. Someone was saying, if you want to be a content creator, please do not buy a USB mic. And I completely disagree with that. Like first year and a bit of COVID, I was still using a USB mic. Do you know what I mean? I used the AT2020 USB. That was my mic for like nearly all the Epic ones when we were doing the Epic Lands from home as host and casting. Like me and you did what, like basically like a good couple of months worth of casting together before I even thought about going to XLR. Like
Yeah, I
put the
mean,
money where you need it the most, and like components are better than peripherals in some ways for the money.
oh, I feel like that's a controversial take. But yeah, no, I think you're definitely on the right lines where like a USB mic can definitely service you for a very long time. You don't need really a high-end XLR mic, and there's a bunch of like extra incurred costs with
Yeah.
XLRs, like
hmm
having like a proper audio DAC like setup and audio interfaces and things like that. So
It's when you go
um,
to like I went to go XLR route for my microphone and it was perfect. It was a perfect choice for me because I didn't need to get phantom power because it's got it built in, and I
yeah.
didn't need to get a DAC because it's built in. Like it saved a lot of cost doing it that way. But you're right though. If you go for like what's the I can't remember the name. The red one. It's on everywhere on Amazon. If you
So
type
yeah,
in
I mean, a couple of the good USB mics recently are the Elgato mic,
the
and then the one
Wave,
that you're thinking
mate.
about, the HyperX
Yeah,
mic.
the Wave is unbelievable. I've got a friend of mine who has one, and he was in between either going for a mixer setup like what you and I have, or he was contemplating doing that, and he didn't know what he wanted to get, and then he read a couple of reviews and watched a couple of videos on the Wave, and he went with that in the end, and he said it's just unbelievable. It's perfect for his setup. He doesn't do commentary or anything like that. He does a lot of VA work, like voice acting work, and he's just like it works for him as a voice actor as well also. So I mean, like you can't you can't say that that's a bad thing if he's using it for
Yeah,
like one of his mainstay employment factors. I want to correct myself what I said earlier on about peripherals. Good mouse, good keyboard, good headset, ideal.
yeah.
Microphone, stuff like that, like Stream Decks and everything, they come with time and they come with a bit more preparation. It took me 3 months to buy the Go XLR and the
I would
microphone.
say this, if you're just getting a PC and getting yours like setup built in, like go for a nice headset, something with good sound staging if you
hmm
want to play competitively and whatnot. But for the majority of people at home, honestly, just a decent lapel mic that goes along with
Yep,
some sort of audiophile headset is more than good enough for 90% of the things that you want to do at home, guys.
100%. Oh yeah, 100% on that. Like for me, my first headset when I started doing commentary was what was it? The Extrafy H1, not the Pro, just the standard, the first generation Extrafys. Um, I bought it because it looked similar to like some of the other headsets that are on the market that I like the look of. I streamed at that point as well, so I was with web camera every time. So I wanted something that looked. It's gonna sound really feeble, but I wanted something that looked really good. Look good on camera as well, right? Like I'm gonna be wearing it while I'm on a camera, so I may as well look decent while wearing it. Um, and keyboard and mouse was just like a Razer keyboard, and I think at the time I had a Razer mouse. But it was like not multiple buttons. It was just left click, right click, and a mouse wheel, nothing else. And then slowly over time, you like build up a bit more into it, and you're like, okay, well, I could probably upgrade my headphones, and I could probably upgrade my mouse, my keyboard, and you just build on it as you go along. Start out with something simple. We use a thing in work called KISS, keep it stupid simple. Which is like my
Keep
new
it stupid.
keep it stupid simple. Like keep it stupid simple. It doesn't need to be like doesn't need to
Is
be
it not keep
genius.
it simple stupid?
We changed it because people got offended because they thought we were calling them stupid. But yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah, it's now in my
Are
head
you
as
just
that. So
talking to Sasha? Like,
don't try to tell me it's the other way around because I'll say that to someone in work and I'll get shouted at for making them feel
okay, all
bad.
right. I
All right,
apologize.
it's in my brain as that now, and that's the way it's got to stay for like the foreseeable. But yeah, we use that technique of like don't like spend. I'm gonna change away from that very quickly on our screen. Don't go like spending thousands on a setup when you could spend a couple of hundred on a really decent PC with good components, and you could spend 50, 60 quid on a mouse and keyboard setup. Decent monitor as well. It's surprising how much a monitor actually impacts. They went from 1080p monitors to 144.
Yeah.
Like to change the way that everything looks like completely.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I just came across this today. I was kind of having a go with my girlfriend's new mouse,
Mm.
and
What she
on
got?
her setup, she has a. Sorry.
What she got? Mouse
Oh,
wise.
I bought her the Lamzu Atlantis Mini.
Ooh.
Really, really good mouse for
Mm.
anyone out there that's looking for one. Wireless mouse, and it's not cheap, but it's not necessarily as expensive as like any of the Razer stuff. But anyway, it's getting sidetracked.
No, of
I was
course.
having to go on her setup and whatnot, and the impact that the refresh rate had. She has a 144 hertz monitor. I have 240 now, and like when I first got this 240 hertz monitor, I was like, oh, there's not that much of a difference. But now I have a go on her monitor, and I'm like, this is like playing on a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But yeah,
also
it's
went to 3 screens recently.
oh okay. How are you finding that?
So, my old setup was 2 screens, just 2 standard landscape screens, and I always wanted to have a portrait monitor, so I can check, like, Discord on it, stream chat, like, if I'm doing editing work, I can throw music onto it or whatever, and I just have it there in the background. 90% of the time, if I'm not doing those things, nothing's on it, and it's just got my wallpaper on it, and that's it. But whenever I need to have something I can glance left to, it's nice to have. So I have a portrait monitor and 2 landscape monitors. And it's actually been really nice. Productivity wise, it's been really nice to have. Like I stream into Discord quite a lot with friends when we're playing like Tarkov or if we're playing like, War Thunder or whatever. And if they're streaming as well, if I have it on my portrait monitor, I can have like all the screens stacked up. So it's just one long video feed basically of multiple angles. Um, yeah, productivity wise, it's definitely helped. Like with editing, especially because I can just throw stuff on it that I'm not using straight away. It's like perfect for what I need it for. If I have like a video that I'm playing in the background, so I can get an understanding of like a technique I want to use in Photoshop, or if I want to get like a template setup for Premiere Pro, and I want to watch the video in the background. Having it on my left monitor, which is right in my vision for my main monitor, is perfect because I can just glance back and forward, right, and like I can follow along as the person is describing it to me. So yeah, I mean it's definitely helped quite a fair bit. I'm being asked if people can give us topics, so I'm going to say yes. Because we literally are on a mini podcast. It's Peony said, "Oh God, oh my God, I love Tarkov. I have a love hate relationship with Tarkov. I love it. It hates me. Um, I mean, it really hates me. Um,
Yeah.
I blasted through to like level 26 or 27 this wipe, and I'm still stuck on like early quests that should have been done at like 10, 11. Because it's just so difficult this wipe. So I've kind of like taken a step back from playing Tarkov this wipe just because it tilted me. Not gonna lie, like I very rarely get tilted in video games, but this time around it definitely did. How it did hit different. Um, we're getting a topic by the way coming through to us as we speak. It's been typed
Yeah, I mean,
out.
I think having a slight pivot for those of you still listening at home, if there are anyone that's
Oh
out there
yeah, yeah.
listening, feel free to just type in, any sort of questions you have, CS related or not,
Hmm.
because I feel like for this kind of a grass roots league, you've got a lot of people who would perhaps be watching this who maybe don't have the most kind of play time on CS. So if you've got any CS related questions and want answering, I used to be a coach not too long ago, so get your free coaching advice now while you can.
And I'm just
But
elderly.
yeah, again, apologies for the delay. We were waiting for one player to join, and it's taking them incredibly long to actually join the server. So hopefully we'll try and get that resolved and sorted soon.
So the question that was asked in the Discord chat was esports growth and the current CS map pool variety. I'm more intrigued at the second part of that question, to be completely honest with you, and Anubis,
Okay.
because I haven't played Anubis yet. I haven't played it and I haven't really touched it. I know enough about it to like commentate on it if someone picked it at random kind of thing, but I don't know. Anubis is a fresh new one for me.
Anubis is actually a really refreshing map. It's super bright. You're not going to have as many of those situations where you're running down, underpass and connector of overpass, like on this map, and have a situation where you have to really squint to notice a player in a corner or whatnot.
Mm,
It's also, very different in the way it's configured, where it doesn't give the CTs as much of a traditional map advantage. Um, Compared to even maps like this, the CTs have all the way up from party all the way back to A site to kind of control the initial start of the round.
mm.
Whereas Anubis, it's very much not the case for that kind of like map control. So it is interesting to see what teams have come up with so far. Seeing some really nice kind of executes from Big, the German squad. I might actually end up doing like a YouTube video breaking down some of their
It
executes,
would be
because
nice.
I feel like they're going to turn into like the Mirage A smokes kind of type of execute where you just kind of flash through, throw the smokes over, and bobs you on corner to the site. But yeah, it's really nice to see this kind of refreshing style of map to come through. I'm hoping we get a little bit more of it coming through, especially considering it's a community made map,
Yeah,
rather.
yeah.
So if we get some more maps from the community who actually have done stellar jobs with maps that have been put in towards the game, then I'm all for it.
Was it time for Dust to die a death?
You know, Dust is the most iconic map in Counter Strike.
Yeah.
It transcends the game for all intents and purposes. So of course it's sad to see it go. Um, but at a certain point, all maps need to be rotated in and out, and it was probably about time for Dust to go. There's probably a few other maps that could probably do with a refresh, or maybe see some new flavors come in terms of like new maps. But
Assuming
as
Mirage would
far
be
as
that one for you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
so. But yeah, honestly, like Dust 2 Mirage, like it's few and far between. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, as long as we're getting some like fresh kind of energy for the
Mhm.
game.
Definitely. Bring Train back is what I say though, personally. I love
Yeah,
Train.
honestly, bring Train back. I'll join you with that one. Really.
Yeah, yeah. I miss Train. I genuinely do. I think it's a really fantastic map. It's got good dynamics on it. It's got good long play. It's got good, kind of like crunch factor, especially pushing through in towards site. Like it's an old school CS players CS map kind of choice. Cash as well. I like new Cash. I'll be honest. It took a while to grow on me. No pun intended, of course, but like it did take a while to grow on me. Um, with some of the changes that were made to it and some of the alterations that were made to it. But I do actually enjoy playing it. I know it's reserved map pool, obviously, and we don't talk about reserved map pool and that kind of stuff. But like I do check it into rotation as well. Yeah, I feel like having Train come back into the swing would be very nice for map pool.
Yeah, how about this question in chat? How do you feel about the current CS meta and the amount of obsolete or niche weapons?
Ooh, I
Do you want
mean,
me to start?
yeah, yeah, it's gonna take me a minute to formulate the words I was gonna say because obviously English is my second language.
Of course, yes, I do
Maintain
forget.
balance.
I do forget. Okay. Yeah,
uh,
the current meta of CS, it's in a very chaotic place, and I don't mean that in terms of like how in flux and changing it is. I literally mean like the current meta of CS, at least at tier 1 level. There's a lot of chaos in these rounds,
yeah,
and a lot of kind of thriving in the chaos, making plays, and it really does rely on players being crispy in terms of aim, but also in terms of individual mental decisions when you've got like 3 different engagements going on like across the map and trying to figure your way through, what your other team's trying to do and counter it and whatnot.
probably put.
And then in terms of obsolete weapons, I don't necessarily think that you need to have the biggest variety of weapons to have a good game. If you think about some of the like best games traditionally speaking, your Halos, your old school Call of Duties, they even, as far back as Call of Duty, Black Ops 2 or whatever, which I think is probably one of the better ones in the series. They didn't have, the most variety of viable weapons, but they're
No,
remembered as some of the most iconic games because you don't need a huge variety to have a good game. You need good kind of mechanics. You need kind of consistency in those mechanics, and then just kind of let the players take it from there, and you can have some real fun with it.
yeah, I agree. I mean, talking about like obsolete weapons and things like that. You mentioned this earlier on. Weirdly enough, in the first map, the P2000 getting used. Um, like I don't see P2000 like a viable weapon from a CT side of things. Never have. I just don't like it. But still, we see players like bringing it out into matches and actually performing really well with it. Kind of like flirting with disaster, more or less. Um, yeah,
You know
I
what
mean,
else is flirting with disaster?
playing a 4-man against 5.
Yeah, that is flirting with disaster at its peak. This is going to be a 4-player setup against the 5 goats, and well, it's not the most ideal position, but it's the position that they're stuck in right now. Going to be a long push here from the T side players. The artists trying to cook up something spicy. A lot of contact being made, a lot of noise, but no kills transpiring, and actually a lot of map control forfeited over. Look at this big rotation though, and there's only one CT player down this B site to receive. Jolly, Molly in hand, might be able to cut off some players, gets insta-gushed, falls without anything, and suddenly this B site has been run over.
Where was this artist side in Act 1 this evening for these guys? Things they're trying to dig deep to get as much damage output as they can. Gets the first part in the second, but your buy is good for 3, and oof. It's not how you want to play that first round of 4v5, right? From a CT standpoint, but your buy there just clearing the house at the end. Sets him in good motion. I mean, again, second round, we've had the conversation about it before in the last map, of course. It is dangerous, but don't see any purchases coming in from CT. So, I mean, realistically speaking, it's all to play for from a 4v5. By getting that 4-man push into a site could prove very, very effective against the CT side. Agent Mahone will start things off. Continuing the momentum from map 1 from this evening. Your buy still favouring the pistol. You upgraded to the Deagle there, picked up from one of the CTs. Got sector falls to it. This is I like this actually, right? Because I mean, it means that the CTs are always scrambling, right? Like, where are we being pushed from? We've taken contact here. Okay, you start showing the players there, but in reality, there's still 3 players that drift elsewhere. Your boy is just spamming that heal at Jolly. Jolly's got no chance at all, like recovering off the back of it, and this is B site control taken off a win, more or less.
Yeah, I think, getting that initial pistol round victory and then no force up from the CT side, this was pretty inevitable, but it's the exact kind of start that the artists needed. And look at Mahone finishing it off with the knife onto Riz. Riz, well, looks like they're lacking a bit of Riz. But yeah, it's it's very much a case right now of the artists trying to build up as many rounds as possible on the T side, where it's very much possible to kind of stack a couple rounds together. It's viable to have 4 players on the T side because, you can take fights, you can trade out, and you don't have to plug holes. It's just a matter of stacking as many rounds before the artists go onto their CT side, in which case it'll be very, very hard to kind of plug every hole and make sure that all your bases are covered.
hate you so much, by the way. I had to mute my microphone, hard mute it from my side of things. But if you were betting that me or Jammer would mention something about Rizzy's name in the first 2 rounds, congratulations on your win. Anyway, Vivian there trying to recover something back from this round so far, picks up her first big lead from Long. Vivi, on the other hand, is still putting some fireworks out over towards the push coming in from the CT side, and this 4-man stack are making everything work at the minute.
Yeah, honestly, probably performing better than with EXO actually on the squad, which is bizarre to say, but he's actually fairly close, and Avery will put things to bed, put things to rest. That is a quick 3-0 for the artist, performing pretty well considering the circumstances. Your boy with 8 kills and 1 death, really helping spur that through. It's just waiting to see if the GOATs will wake up.
Wake up indeed. I mean, last round was the first kind of big buy round that we saw coming in from GOATs. This round, a little bit different. Some players struggling a little bit as far as economy is concerned. So we'll see only a couple of upgraded pistols and some SMGs to work into round 4. I think at the minute, though, I mean, as far as, you know, currently kind of sitting, it's all to play for as far as GOATs are concerned. They need to start stepping up to the plate a bit here and working some of this numerical advantage that they have, you know, and it doesn't really favour them sitting in 1v1 spots like that where they're gonna, you know, they can get swing peeked by a team that don't really have much to lose from this.
Yeah, I mean, not much to lose in this situation, but it does seem as though there's a lot to lose in terms of the entire context of the matchup. You know, this is a 5 versus 4 for unfortunate reasons, but you do kind of need to try and capitalize on this sort of situation when and if you can. And well, the way things are situated right now, 4 might just be enough. Your boy cleaning things up again. 4 kills in the round to put 4 on the board. That's really good impact. And I think it's just a case of how long can this continue.
I mean, it's your boy, right? Like, it's cringe. Yeah, I mean, your boy just slamming home every possible round that he can with that AK. 12-1 currently at the moment. This 45 is going completely the opposite direction of where I think you and I kind of expect it to, especially given how our performed in the match previous, of course. Your boy is still swinging on the side. The first, gets the second straight off the back of that as well. Also, B-side clear, boys, bring the bomb in. Let's get this round over with. And he's hunting for more. I mean, I like this from a player with very little to lose and a lot to gain. Still looking to make that dominant play. Will he get a knife though? That is the big question. Some vehicle is above him at the moment, so it may happen at some point, depending on which direction of the swing from, but Avery's just quick on the draw with that shot onto Rizzy. Some vehicle falls. That is a very nice control play there coming in from Avery. Gets a little bit of damage laid out, but still managing to recover that off the back of it. Jolly's left running for the hills, mate. This is another very good round from the 4-man.
Yeah, not a jolly start for the GOATs here. They've not had the best of seasons so far, but it might look like it's getting a little bit worse. 5-0 so far, as the artists have a really good start. And I think it might just be a case of familiarity. You know, the artists didn't look too comfortable on Nuke. They seemed like to struggle to get into things a little bit. But here on Overpass, completely flipping the script. Not afraid to take fights, not afraid to take map control. And, well, for the GOAT, it seems like kind of what we saw from the artists on Nuke. You know, you see a little bit of hesitancy, maybe a little bit of hero CS coming through as they try and get anything across the border, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the artists.
Boy's activated, mate. He's just going for it. I love that. Agent Mahone there picking up one up towards Party. Or towards mid, you'd say at that point. Some big will there will get a trade-off in the end, but I mean, this again just is all artists as they get themselves in towards the site. Avery will plant the bomb and immediately retreat backwards. The only player on the team with full HP, but there's a lot of utility to the recovery attempt here from the CT side of things. Some bagel doesn't get tapped through the damage from wall, but that grenade, oh, it's not nice. Oh, nice.
No. Not so friendly warning shot rattled off with those nades, and
It was a
Molotov fares better, but no.
as well.
Oh
Oh,
no!
no!
You know what, Baines? I give you props for that one just for the comedy factor of it. It will be a 6th round for the artist.
If anything,
Yeah.
that proves he doesn't have ice in his veins. Someone needs to grab that for real and just nightmare. Absolute nightmare. We've all been there though, right? Like I've done that. I've 1G'd myself on more than one occasion. Yeah. Nightmare.
Well, 6-0 is the scoreline moving forward. Again, good start for the artist. Your boy continuing to take space down towards B, and there's only one player here to hold off the aggression. It's Vivian, and Vivian up in heaven as well to support, but Soxlurker won't get anything done. There's a rotation from Riz, who actually played really well last time we saw them, so it's a shame they can't continue that good form, but it seems like the artists have really been woken up by that previous loss. Something deep down inside has awoken, and it seems pretty dangerous and scary to me, Reaper.
It does indeed. Need to quote Bob Ross, happy little mistakes. They do happen. It's not a mistake, it's a happy accident, isn't it? Is the, I think is the term.
Yeah. I mean, just to comment a little bit on the Exavolt situation. Honestly, Exavolt, you don't need to apologize. Yeah. These things happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be able to still get you into the server if you're able to join. Hopefully the admins will allow it. And yeah, but you know what? These things happen. This is a grassroots tournament. Glad that we can continue the show and see
never
how
talk.
things
Never
go.
talk to me again, Axel. Done. I am joking, of course. I agree with Jammer. It's fine, mate. It happens. Back is a weird way of being finicky with players when they with their PCs. It just happens sometimes. Get yourself sorted. Get yourself ready to jump in if you can jump in, and if you can't, then we'll see you next week anyway. It's not a huge issue, mate. Rizzy there does manage to take down Avery, your boy, and Veins. Trying to prove that he does in fact have ice in his veins. Will kill at least one of the players up there. Not before taking a lot of damage as a result. Your boy falls, Jammer, for only the 2nd time so far in the last 8 rounds.
I don't know if some bagel was hurt there, but in any case, it will be Mahone to collect that one. And this is a really tough 2 versus 1 for Socksucker to complete. It did look like as though you might have seen the first GOAT round on the board, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. 15 health to work with. There is a kit and a smoke, so it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I just don't see it happening, Reaper.
No, same. I mean, it's a very big ask. You know, you've only got the smoke to really work with. Yeah, you know, no utility to kind of make that momentum with, and just unfortunate that when he does make that move to try and get a bit more exposure into the site, that the smoke starts to fade in front of him, right? And it's just unlucky timing as a result.
Well, unfortunate English. Unfortunate start here.
Was that English?
For the GOATs. Yeah, well, an attempt. And well, an attempt is all that can be said for the GOATs right now. Your boy's still going onto the B site. A rampage. As another entry's brought through. It might be 2nd, but no, instantly traded. And this is a 2 versus 3 that could turn tables. Riz picks up 2, potentially on for the 3rd, but look who it is. Agent Mahone, one of the star players for the artist squad. Gonna try and clutch up. Can they do it, Reaper? What do you think?
Back out, get yourself up towards A. Actually, no, he's done the fake, mate. He sold the fake as well. Oh, that's so big brain.
I think Agent Mahone has just channeled the head of who's the G2 IGL? What's his name? It's escaping me. How is this? It's a Giga Brain play in any case.
It's a Giga Brain play. Wrinkly, very wrinkly brained.
Wrinkly brain. Oh, this is gonna plague me now. How have I forgotten? I'm a caster. I promise, guys.
We do know what we're doing most of the time. Big Molly. Molly lands on bomb there as well, Jammer, I think. just got the edge for it? Maybe? No, 10-second defuse, never happening. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's
Well,
not gonna happen because of the molly anyway, regardless. I think actually 5-second defuse or 10-second, right? Like, he's just inside that molly range.
yeah, really, really fortunate play there for the artist to get a ninth. Oh, Hooksy, that was it. Thank you, chat.
Hooksy, thank you, yeah.
We're all living in Hooksy's world in the end, aren't we?
Big brains, big plays. Oh, spam through smoke. I mean, gotta kind of expect that reaction to happen after that CT smoke gets popped out. Like, it's an immediate, you know, it's an instant for a T-side player to just try and slap some shots through the smoke, see if they can get at least a bit of unconfirmed damage off the back of it. But Rizzy's just unfortunate in his placement and timing, more or less, and gets wiped out of that fight before it even begins. Your boy, on the other hand, does fall. Well, for like the third time, I think it is now, or fourth time, so far in the last 10 rounds. And as much as being one-way traffic, it's slowed right down now as far as artists are concerned to try to weasel their way in towards site control. Jolly comes off the worst in that trade from him and Agent Mahone. A lot of HP dropped there, but we can already see the rotation starting to make its way all the way up towards the A site. There's only one player left up there. It's Vivian that's there as well. No big green in hand that we'd used to see in her hands. Does still have an M4 to play with, and she now has the rotating players to come in to try and help. They're not going to be quick enough, unfortunately. The bomb plant should go through here with enough time on the board or enough time separating for post-plant positioning to get acquired. Agent Mahone playing a dangerous game though, pushed himself all the way through that cold smoke, and it's just chaos in the backlines, Jammer.
How has Agent Mahone gotten away with that one and even finishes the round off? Impactful play, 3 kills in the round, and this is looking disastrous for the GOATs right now. Can't seem to step a foot in the right direction, let alone get a round win. And I don't even know how to approach that one.
How is Agent Malone allowed to get that deep into the smoke first and foremost without bumping into anything, but then be able to press through it, get that first kill on the downfall? That first kill, it's always going his direction, right? The player's not looking at him, he's looking forward, straight up the steps, get up the steps. He's got a head on him, it's no issue, right? Second frag, however, that should never be falling in that direction, but it does in the end. Vivian starts round 11 off, could be a potential helping hand towards getting one on the board here for GOATs. Initial frag there, your boy getting taken down. He's been the heavy hitter so far in this first half of Overpass. There are still plenty of rounds left to go for both sides at the minute to recover from. Rizzy will pick up 2, but Jolly is the man to seal the deal. And he has...
happened, Reaper.
It did. I love that sound pack. I need to get it. Anyway, 10-1, mate. It happened in the end, finally. It was very hard fought. You know, a lot of CT players falling as a result of it, but still, one on the board is better than none on the board.
I'll tell you what, the GOATs are alive, and they're here to play potential 10-5 on the cards. Really depends on if the GOATs are able to keep players alive. Rizzy going for info play with the AWP. Let's tag down a little bit, and we'll be warded back. And you can see the impact these last few rounds have had. Still your boy trying to entry down towards the B site. Jolly almost being caught out. Really fortunate to be alive right there, but the 3 players on the B site aren't going to be rotating anytime soon just because of the impact that you boys had over the game.
Please explain to me how Charlie's still alive. Rizzy there picks up one against Veins, goes for a second, gutsy play and gets down Agent Mahone. 32 HP left to him and still big green in hand to do a lot more damage with it, but your boy is still hungry for more as far as B site's concerned. Oh, still couple of seconds there where there was no possibility of him getting some bagel, but makes it work towards the end. And at the minute, Rizzy is the man keeping GOATs afloat by the looks of things, Jammer. 3-piece so far with Big Green. Still hanging out up top waiting for that smoke to dissipate. Get another shot potentially down in towards Avery. We do have Socksucker standing by ready to... I think this is going to be like a double peak entry maybe from both sides. Try and see if they can get Avery to focus on one. That'll be the focus coming through. Can they succeed into it? They do, but number 2 on the board, Jammer.
It is indeed locked in. Rizzy almost getting an ace with the AWP there. Impactful round, and that does help a second round be converted. But just as I said, that was very costly, and you might see a little bit of a speckled buy coming in from the CT side. You should be able to get 4 rifles, or maybe even a AWP actually, but Jolly opts against it. A little bit low on utility, and that might play in towards these later rounds. You've seen how capable the artists are at getting towards the sites into these post plants. It's just going to be a matter of time before they break through if things continue this way. But honestly, having 2 rounds is definitely a better position than we were prospectively looking at earlier on in this half.
It's all about where you put that utility as well. We can see one of the mollies has already been taken out of the fight. That leaves 3 left in the mix to kind of ward off any players from taking too much of a positional advantage. Oh, there's a pixel worth of difference there between spotting a player and not spotting a player, but I think Rizzy might actually be able to play through the back lines if he was greedy enough for it, but he's not going to vote to go for it. Instead, we'll swing through to site to give his players a little bit of a helping hand. That Molotov, however, is going to take him out in the end from some bagel. At the minute, we're left with Avery and your boy to try and recover this round. I mean, they've got a bit of economy in the bank, of course, with 3 of the players, you know, plus 3,000 left this round, so going for it really like isn't a bad idea. Your boy there swings out through in towards side control, takes down Sucker immediately. I keep using the word greedy because these gutsy plays that we're seeing from this player, right? He's just happy to stand in the open and keep spraying through, but Jolly is more than happy to do the exact same from the backside.
Yeah, absolutely good rotations there from the GOATs to halt that progression, and a little bit lacking in team play again as you see players try and scramble to save or recover the situation as the artist pushed up long. But in the end, it worked out pretty well. 3 players alive, they can pick up some rifles, good amount of utility here. And it's really up to the artist to kind of respond now that the GOATs have kind of come back into things a little bit.
10-3's recoverable.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Looks as though we're going back towards this B-heavy stack for the artists. I'm curious to see, you know, how they approach this one because they have slowed it down quite a bit in pace. Oh, good nade.
Oh. That was a cheeky nade, in fact, and just get that kind of tap damage off the top. Unconfirmed, of course, but still does lend the favour a little bit more towards GOATs again, stopping this preemptive push coming through. Vivian, she does spot the head, taking it through the top. Can't span through that wall, I don't believe. It's the wood right next to it, you can though, right?
Yeah.
It's warning shots.
Absolutely. Vivian making her presence known. Bombs being planted though straight away. No even clearing of the site, but you know what? The digits are locked in and your boy swings for some info. He even gets a kill before being traded out. Veins in a very unorthodox position, tucked in towards bridge. Should even be mollied off from retreating, but almost converts the kill onto Riz. This is a 2 versus 2 retake though. That absolutely needs to be converted. Socksucker team flashed. Not ideal, and no kits, so this is again made a little bit tougher. Rizzy going down doesn't help things, and Socksucker will fall as well. 11-3 as we move forward, and it seems as though the artists have come back into things and returned to their somewhat home.
Yeah, they've continued to paint their masterpiece.
There you go.
Second layer coming up after this round, of course.
Not quite varnished just yet, though, right?
Not quite varnished, yeah. Stop us now, please. Just stop us now. Actually, you can't stop us now. I'm the one that's in control of the production.
That's what you want about.
It wasn't the 45-minute conversation we had about PC parts and everything else. Anyway, moving swiftly forward while we still have somewhat control over this game. Bits and pieces of damage getting laid out. Your boy there coming off the better in that opening foray of damage. Rizzy having to fall back. I mean, the MP9 is a good SMG to have in an awkward position like this, you know, being so deep up mid, but I think he's been spotted, or they're aware at least of his presence nearby. You'll get taken out by Big Green in the hands of your boy. Vivian now, last person standing on the site control, needs to make this big if it's going to be, well, the rest of the players rotate around to give some helping hands against your boy, but doesn't quite lock on to a second. Jolly's in a good position here, mate, at Optimus. That can actually work out quite nicely. Never mind, I say it way too quickly. He falls immediately. Caster's Curse comes into effect. It's a fake plant. known bit. Pros don't fake, Jammer.
Pros, sometimes fake, but you know what isn't fake? This 12-3 scoreline. Artist absolutely dominant, coming off of that loss on Nuke. Maybe a question of, you know, just comfortability of maps transferring over, and well, for the GOAT, it's not looking too good. But if they do want to come back into things, it all starts with this pistol.
Your boy though, just slamming that ADR, 175 so far, and we're just hitting halftime as we can see. So, you know, very, very good damage output from him. When you're only one of 4 people, you're gonna get a lot more of the majority of the kills, right? Like, you've got a lot more options to be able to get those frags in. So it's definitely having a helping hand as far as pushing up them stats. How would you set this up as a 4-man though, Jammer? 2-and-2 split, and just, you know, pray no one really pushes through middle?
Yeah, I think you've got to either play really aggressive or really passive, depending on how you want to approach things. But this is aggressive from the T side. Vivian going for the plant straight away. Perhaps a bit unwarranted. This is a 4 versus 3, in fact. That should transpire in the T side's favor, but there are trades coming through. Vaynes has impact in bank, and no one is actually even considering it. Rizzy, though, helping things out, and it is just Vaynes left in a 2 versus 1. Bagel will close things out, and that is a little bit of a calming of the tides, and that's a much-needed pistol.
Sorry, I was just shouting down the name of that sound back so I can grab it afterwards. Taco truck, thank you. I just love the little trumpet. But yeah, I mean, what a great pistol round. You know, T-side made it work. Vivian goes straight with the plant without having any bomb site clear. Not quite sure what the game plan was there other than getting the bomb plant down. Agent Malone just left in a really easy position to, you know, to delay as much as possible essentially at that point. But the crunch starts to happen. Rizzy there pushing straight through with AK, gets 1, gets 2 in fact in the end with Vaynes falling. It's left to Avery now to try and do something with the Deagle. We're looking for 1 taps. The only 1 tap that we get is from some Bagel.
Yeah, absolutely. This is where having a 5 versus 4 can really impact your game. It's so hard on a map like Overpass to play a man down and feasibly, you know, cover off every single thing that the T side can do. There's just so many different ways that the GOATs can work together and just funnel through a choke point and just absolutely swarm and overwhelm you. So it's going to be interesting to see how this CT side is approached. But for now, it does seem as though the GOATs are working their way back into things and stacking a couple of rounds together.
Indeed it is. You're right though, the player advantage kind of falls away when you do switch over to a CT side. There's just too much room to cover with a 4-piece. It's all about those good, you know, retakes. That's what you kind of want to build your momentum up with. Jolly and Vivian there, splitting the difference as far as frags so far. Agent Mahone won't be so lucky there with the pistol this time round, and Vaynes, last man standing. Has a Nova though. Nova to AK would be nice.
That would be quite the upgrade. I don't really see it being on the cards, but you know what? There's always a possibility. But yeah, returning to kind of the perspective of the matchup, it's kind of tough to see how, you know, the artists are playing so well here with a man down, and then just how kind of impactful that last game was on Nuke. I really wonder what the timeline would have looked like if that first matchup wasn't on Nuke and was on a map like Overpass or Inferno that the artists are a little bit more familiar with, and how that would kind of shape the season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it would definitely be game changing as far as their attitude towards that first map into the second map as well. I mean, playing like they are at the moment, but coming off the back of quite a steep loss. You know, who knows what would have happened going forward into this one. We might not be sitting in the position that we are at the moment, where, you know, we do have a run of rounds coming in from GOATs because of the loss of the extra player. From my understanding, the additional player is still trying to join, by the way, so we might still end up going back to 5v5 at some point. And that again could change the dynamic entirely. Vaynes, however, trying to change the outcome of this round, isn't quite as successful there with the frags that we've seen from him in previous. Agent Mahone, however, reactivated, gets the M4 and just starts spraying.
That's
1v1.
actually insane. Jolly, though, will return the favor, and this is a 1 versus 1 that's anyone's game. Jolly is rotating back, but bombs in no man's land, and Agent Mahone, with how good they've played so far, I probably fancy their chances in this sort of a situation.
You can just chill, right, and wait for Jolly to make noise or make some sort of aggression somewhere, and they've changed positions with each other more or less.
Yeah, I mean,
this is intelligent, though.
Yeah, it's absolutely a really smart push, and it does make things very, very hard for Jolly. I would be surprised if Jolly was considering this, and there you go. Agent Mahomes saves the day with some help from his teammates. That will be a 13th round for the artists, and if they're able to steal away another couple of rounds, that might just be enough. Even just getting a couple of kills actually might just be enough to shake the economy, and as soon as you've done that, you might have the ending of the game on your hands.
Super intelligent play from Agent Mahone to rotate out of that position. I mean, it's untenable at that point. He doesn't know what utilities left out there. We can obviously see with the benefit of having the availability to that the grenades galore, as far as what's left and available to Jolly, you know, to really put into practice. But that doesn't end up happening. So it just takes that little bit of extra time that they have to rotate out of position, get into a decent one, and pull the round back. Speaking of pulling rounds back, looks like the goals are on for it at the moment. He's going to fall to Rizzy's AK in the end. 2 goals so far for Rizzy into this round. Avery finishes off Jolly. And also some vehicle there with the MP9. We're left to an M4 versus 2 low health AKs.
Very doable for Veins. I don't think their position's fully known, although Rizzy is dubious to it. That was an audacious way to cross that angle. Flash high, it does allow a peek to come through for Socksucker, but that's bad timing for it. Veins has a smoke actually. This is very doable, but opts to smoke long instead of the bomb. And Rizzy should be able to clean up, although not gonna quite close out just yet. Veins tapping the bomb, will force a peek out. And Rizzy can see bomb being clear, just have to play the time, play the scenario. Should be good enough. That's good use of the Molotov, though. Has to be smoked out. Rizzy needs to push through. Oh, Veins has locked it in. That's our 14th round, and what a clutch in the end. Really good play, and I don't know how Riz has allowed that to escape through.
Oh, that's... Someone needs to get that man a bigger chair. Like, that's big cojones play right there. Pop that molly down, just stick it, just keep holding, and then even swings out right at the back end of it and gets that last frag. Oh, it's exactly the kind of CS you want to see from a CT player that's on the back foot. Swing peaks again, Mahomes still on here, gets one lot of damage dealt out to some bagel there, and Rizzy takes a bit of the extra flak as well also. But this is like very good play as far as CT side is concerned. Utility needs some work, Jammer.
You know what? If you're throwing fake flashes and getting headshots like that, I don't really care whether you miss the flash. Jolly just compounding, but Avery is returning the favour with 2 kills. And this is a 2 versus 2, that's anyone's game. Oh, that was an instrumental fight. If Rizzy went down there, you might have seen this round fall out of favour. But Veins in the clutch again. Definitely doable. There's a first. Rizzy makes their position known. Oh, Veins. Careful. Toes burning, but Rizzy will lock it in, and that's not going to escape just so quickly. But these rounds are getting so chaotic, Reaper.
They have to be chaotic at this point. I mean, you've got artists scrambling to recover a couple of rounds here and there as best they can, push themselves over that tipping point, and you've got coach there and they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them to try and, well, for lack of a better word, but sink the round count down as quick as they possibly can. It's very advantageous play from a 4-man at least, you know, to be in that sort of position where you're having T's kind of make those risky plays work, but also giving you opportunities to try and kick them out of that site as quick as possible. Volley tap there changes the game as far as how that round plays out, but this one is already midway through. Moving to Rizzy there, starting to ramp up a few kills of their own, in fact, on the leaderboard. It's left to your boy and Veins to recover with some deagles. I say a deagle, there's an upgrade AK ready. There's 2 AKs actually in the fight. Now 1 and now none.
None indeed. No hope for the artists to get anything in that round with the Eagles. It is an immediate force buy gain from that extra cash boost from being 4 men down. You will be able to get a significant amount of rifles, but I maybe, with this round advantage, would have wanted to see this squad maybe, have a half buy, armor pistols, just try and get some damage, so that they can piece this force buy in for the last few rounds of the half. But you know what? It's their game to win, their game to lose. 14-8 is where we stand. Your boy, very audacious in that peak, gets a lot of info. Although we can see the bomb's not quite committed over towards that side. In 1-for-1 trade, though, will continue to sell this fake, and you can see bomb heading over towards A with Vivian taking a lot of space, but I don't know. It's a lot of presence and a lot of damage done, but look how empty this A site is.
Yeah, A site's completely lost. Oh, we have a fifth, by the way. Just joined the server. Welcome back, Axel Vault. Can you bring your A game to help this out? I think Axel Vault's killed my internet connection, Jammer. No idea what just happened there, boys. Not gonna lie to you.
I think Avery just clutched up the round, taking Rizzy and Jolly down, and that's 15. I think
Axel Vault's joined like John Terry. You know what I'm on about? Like right at the very end, he's like, you must know what I'm on about with John Terry with that.
That's such a dirty reference.
It is so bad. For those who aren't aware, Chelsea were playing in, I think it was Champions League, and he was not allowed to play. I think he was banned actually for a red card, and they won it, and then he turned up in a kit on the pitch for the players for pitches. Literally Axel Vault right here. Avery and Axel Vault here locking down that mid control, trying to swing players away, get that advantage back, and Avery is just digging all the way down deep into those pockets, trying to recover all those picks, gets 3 off the back of it, even goes for a USP jammer. That's just filthy. Can he? Oh, not quite ace it out with the USP at the end. We are left for one man standing. That's Rizzy. Is there a way of recovering this back, Jammer? We've got a scout and an AK in play still. Hands of Veins on your boy.
Depends. This timing is everything. Rizzy, pull out the knife, and I don't know if that's a good time to do so. Indeed, it's not. Your boy will lock it in, and I think that's quite apt considering how impactful your boy has been across this map.
Oh, massive.
And Reaper. Yeah, can you break that one down for us? How did that transpire?
I mean, the 4-man stack, you're on the back foot, you throw everything at a team. You have a player like your boy who's, well, I mean, look at that ADR, 129 as it finishes off. Before the half, 179. You throw a player like that into the mix as well, nothing to gain, everything to gain, nothing to lose, and you put yourself in a position where you just dominate on round after round. Rizzy, on the other hand of things, big shout out, 28 and 19 still as well also. A dominant force as far as the GOAT side of things, but just not quite enough on the night. 16-8 is the final score for that game, and that is actually our final game of the evening, Jammer.
It is.
Exavolt in chat, by the way, couldn't have done it without me. I don't want to be that guy or nothing, but no.
Hey man, your job as the bottom fragger in any sort of game is to just bring the Riz with you and to close that game out.
A career-defining MVP nonetheless, you do still have plenty to keep up with, of course, over the next 2 days and then back into next week. Myself and Jammer will be back on Wednesday evening. Once again, if they haven't laid us off before then for our terrible jokes. They wouldn't do, though. They couldn't do it. Look at us. We're just the best, aren't we? Dragons versus Swans Esports next week, Jammer, on the 8th of February at 7 p.m. I think it's actually our only game of the evening as well, so it'll just be the one best of one to watch. Stay posted, of course, on Twitter on that. There'll be updates about the games that are coming up over the next couple of days. I'm not sure what tomorrow is as far as esports, so Welsh Esports League. But let's be real, you're here for me and Jammer and for CS, right? That's what it's here for. Like, the other games are great. Like, yeah, I would enjoy them by all means, but the real winners here are you guys watching us cover CSGO. Jammer, any closing words before we wrap up for the evening?
I think, we're 1 week removed from the end of the season. Just to give a quick update for the people at home, it seems as though the Pirates have kind of run away with things. 3 wins, 0 losses. Robins with 2 wins, and I think those are the only 2 games played actually for the Robins. Then it's the Goats with 2 wins and 2 losses. Swans with 2 wins and 3 losses, which is surprising considering how good the Swans are.
Hmm.
Pit Ponies with 1 win and 2 losses. Artists with 1 win and 2 losses. And the Dragons with 1 win and 3 losses. I'm sure the scores from today will be updated in due time. But yeah, please keep up to date with Esports Wales. And I hope you enjoyed that little impromptu Jammer and Reaper podcast we had.
Yeah, that's where I was worried about. No. Thank you once again, like I said, gents, for watching this. Like Jammer mentioned a few moments ago, don't forget to follow EsportsWales on Twitter. You can also find both myself and Jammer's socials on screen at ReaperSteve1 for myself, as well as at Jammer_CS for Jammer. Any issues, drop us a message. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next Wednesday. Peace and good